Welcome to the Book Date with You session, the best book recommend to you. And today we are going to the episode number 107. Today we were going to discuss about this book. It's called Better Than Before by Gretchen Rubin. So if you all still remember and you still follow my episode, back then we have our sharing about this book. It's called The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin in the episode 79, 80, and 83 and 85. We have all the 4 episodes dedicated for this happiness project. So Gretchen Rubin is the author of the blockbuster international bestsellers, The Happiness Project, definitely this book, and also The Happier at Home. She also has a popular weekly podcast, Happier with Gretchen Rubin. I definitely is a follower of her the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast. So today we were going to dive into the book Better Than Before. So I'm going to pass to Gideon. Let's start with that.
Hi everyone. I'm so glad to share about this book, and today I want to have maybe a casual discussion on this book. And this book is about, of course, about habit building, and sometimes breaking habits also. And Gretchen want to put this on table like sometimes understandable, sometimes is we think about building habit, and sometimes we are having trouble even to build habit for things that we like to do, and people are wondering. But some people, you can see that they can build their habit very fast, like overnight, and some people just struggling to build a habit. So Granger want to put this on the book and let's have a discussion on this. But before we start, let's think about why building a habit is important. And Gretchen make it very easy to understand. Habit make it possible for people to change. Habit make change possible by freeing us from decision making and from using self-control. So thinking about that, if you want to make something doable continuously, but if you had to do something, but it will require you to consistently use decision making or self-control or discipline, it will be very difficult because for a fact human don't like to make decisions, or it takes time to make decisions, and human don't like to use self-control consciously, right? So we want to make this habit as something unconsciously that you can perform without thinking. So this is very important to talk about how to build a habit. And Gretchen put it a good way is, before we just ask people to follow a certain rules of building habits, it sometimes don't work because we don't understand ourselves, or we don't understand other people, you know. Because every human are different, and to shape our habit successfully, Gretchen said that we must know ourselves. Or if you want to change other people, you must know the other person. And we can't assume that a habit strategy will work for everyone, because everyone is different from each other, right? And I think Gretchen give an example of 4 distinct groups or she called it tendencies, 4 tendencies, and you can check on yourself whether which group you are, right? So the first group are upholders. So upholders are people that respond readily to both outer expectation and inner expectations. So meaning that they have responsibility on their own to outside us, and also self-motivations. So so this type of people, they like to have rules, and they like to have deadlines. They like to meet deadlines. And Gretchen mentioned in this book, there are very few people in this group called upholders. Of course, Gretchen is a upholders, and I think she mentioned about like maybe less than 10% of human are upholders.
Really?
Yes, less than 10%.
10%.
So yes.
You are in that group.
I when I do all the analysis of the book, I think I'm in this group. Okay, I'm sure Joyce also you are in this group. I
Later
mean,
we talk about the four tendency first, then later we
uh, but
we
anyway, there's no good or bad whether you are in which group or not. The second group is questioners. Questioner are people who question all the expectation, question all the things. They will be motivated by reason, logic, and fairness. So they resist rules, but they will ask a lot of questions like, why I need to do this? Why? Before they actually doing it. So this is called questioners. The third group is obligers. Obligers are people who respond readily to outer expectations. So remember, the first group is outer and inner, but the third group of obliger is only um, respond to outer expectation, meaning they are motivated by external accountabilities. Like they like to have friends who ask them to do something, or they like to oblige to some people, join people together to do some things. So they are obligers. The fourth group, the last group is rebel. They are people who resist all the expectation. They don't like to follow things. They like to have a sense of choice, freedom, and they resist control or even self control. They just enjoy to beating the rules, breaking the rules or expectations, and they have their own ways. So Joyce, which group you are in?
I think I'm upholders too.
Okay, but I think you are initially maybe upholders, but slightly you are having a sense of questioners also, because you question everything, right? I mean, like why? It doesn't make it's not a bad thing.
I love the question. Things, especially it comes to those things that, can be more reasonable, right? Especially you want to form a habit, why you want to form that habit, right? It takes your time, energy, and effort to do that. And I believe if I can have the solid reason that
Yeah,
really motivate me so much more. So, and to definitely, I'm so glad that I also fall into the 10% of the upholders, but along the journey as a nutrition coach, I always get involved into helping and coaching
mm,
people how to form the positive habits towards their well-being. So I found that a lot of people fall into the category of obligers, and then which means that they have this they feel difficult to have this self-motivated,
yeah,
and that they need someone to be the accountability. That's the reason why I have this community to help them to motivate each other. We pair up like partners so that they can actually work together, so they can have the motivation better to move forward. So I think more important is to know who they are, who we are,
yeah,
which category you fall into, so that you know what actually can help them to change better. So better
yes,
than before. So that is
yes.
our main aim, right? So now we go to the next
Yeah,
part.
and beside these four group, right, this tendency, Gretchen also briefly go through other group. Of course, human are complex. So I won't go through in detail, but there are some questions that you need to think about yourself or the other person if you want to change out the other person. Is like question like, am I a lark or an owl? Meaning that am I an early person or a night person? Like for me, I like to work at night because it's my habit. So I'm work best at night. So Joyce is an early person, so he's a lark. So so we have to think about that before we change our habit. If we want to do something, maybe it's best to do it at your best time. Second things to think about is, am I a marathoner, a sprinter, or a procrastinator?
Marathon.
So yeah, you are marathoner. Right? Yeah, marathoner is people who like to do things in long term continuously. Sprinter is people who like to do things very fast and then just get it done. Yeah. Another thing is to think about is, am I a simplicity lover or abundance lover? So some people like to be simple to do things, but some people just like to have more and more complex thing to think about. Um, the other thing is, am I a familiarity lover or a novelty lover. Novelty is like you do things that is very unique. You like unique things, do things that are different, or you like to do things that are familiar with what you are doing. Um, maybe and then maybe the last one I need to mention is, do I like to take small step or big steps? Of course, according to this book, we want things to do things in a long-term manners, right? Gretchen even mentioned like what we do every day matters more than what we do once in a while. You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
I'm also curious just now when we talk about
Mm.
taking small step and big steps, right? Um, Gideon, through your observation to those people around you, do you think that those people that can take small steps is more or the big steps is
I think yeah, more people like to see big step because maybe they give us more satisfactions.
okay?
So for people who take small step, we have to try to get satisfaction even for small steps, right? So we have to appreciate each or every small steps. But I think the tendency now is people like to see big changes.
Some people just cannot cope with the big steps too much,
Yeah.
especially they feel like this is just a too big step for them to take.
Mm, mm.
So they prefer the smaller step. So sometimes I found that if those people, that's why we need to know the person, which tendency they are in, and which type of the person they are in before helping them. So let's jump into another part. I love that so much. Let's go.
The other part, I don't know which one, but the other part is Gretchen also mentioned like we manage what we monitor. And I think this related to the second one. If it's on the calendar, it happens. Okay.
Yes, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely my favorite one. What is on the calendar? It happens. Mm.
Yeah. For me, beside works, I also put personal things that I need to do in the calendar, like fetching my mom's in the calendar.
I
So if it's not in
remember,
the calendar, it won't happen.
I remember Gideon told me he blocked his time to have lunch and have dinner, which means that the Google Calendar actually has the time having lunch and having dinner,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's important, especially for my work, is I work with global teams. So it's almost like you're working 24 hours beside your sleep. Some people don't even care whether you are asleep or not. So you really, I mean, in my company, we really say that we even have to block time for lunch and dinner, because if you don't do that, people will just take that time and have meeting with you, right? So even for like meditation, you even have to set a time for meditation, or else people will take that time for meetings. So we manage what we monitor. The other thing is we manage what we monitor is at the time that we're talking about this, I'm also in a fitness challenge from my company, and we have to track all our exercise, our walking steps in apps, and I think it's a good way. If I don't have that apps to monitor myself, I wouldn't know like how much I achieve, and it wouldn't beat me up myself. It's not comparing, but wouldn't beat me up myself like to know how much I achieved yesterday or today. Do I do better, or do I have to step up? Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is about if you are obligers, I think this thing makes sense. It's about someone's watching you,
Mm.
as there's accountability. If you don't have these self motivations, you might want to have someone that is uh, doing this together with you, or you can say better like doing together with you, or just give you encouragement on your way, right? Yeah. The other thing is about Gretchen also mentioned, it's just enough to begin, because a lot of people they just don't take the first step. I think habit start from the first step. So if you just start whatever small step, just start, and you will do it. You will just continue, hopefully, with the momentum. Yeah. And the other important thing about habit is, I think a lot of people they miss this, is Gretchen say that to build a habit, it's best that you don't set a finish line. Don't don't set a goal. Because if you set a goal, for example, like you say you want to lose weight, maybe say 10 kg. After you meet that goal, human tend to just stop doing that, because you have a goal. So instead of just saying maybe lost 10 kg, or we what we can do is you can say that no, every day takes 10,000 steps. I think you will achieve the same thing. Like for me, like if I just follow the fitness challenge in the beginning of this month, and I already lost 2 kg. And this 2 kg is not what I meant, right? It's not a goal. I didn't set a goal on losing weight. I just set a goal that I want to have 10,000 steps every day, every day. So if you are setting a goal, setting a things that you will do continuously, you will achieve better, Yeah, yeah, rather than a goal. Yeah.
Definitely. Why? Because I myself experienced that. Back then, I'm a kind of plump girl. And then I lost the weight, not because I want to lose the weight.
Yeah.
Just I take the step to stay healthy, and then the weight comes to the right weight that I'm supposed to be. So next we go.
Yeah. The next one is very interesting about pairing. If you have difficulty to build habit, you might try this method called pairing. Pairing means that you pair a habit you want to build with something that you like. So for example, for me, I don't really like jogging actually, but I like to see nature. I like to see trees, see birds flying, see all the nature around me. So I pair seeing nature with jogging together because I can do that, right? Because I jogging outside. So I can, because I like to see nature, I can pair this with the habit that I want to build, which is jogging. For people that maybe you don't like to see nature, it's okay. Maybe you can think about if you like to build relationship with your elders or your parents, and you don't have time for that, maybe you can pair jogging with your parents. Because doing the jogging or walking, you can talk to them, right? You can talk to
Walking
them.
and but
Walking, or depends on how fit is your parents, right? Some parents are very competitive, of course. Yeah. Um, or if you like to just listen to music and you don't have time even for music, yeah, like for myself, when I work, we don't have time for listening to music. But if you like to listen to music, maybe pair listening to music to jogging, right? You can listen to music right while you're jogging. So I'm thinking pairing maybe is something that we can try.
I love to listen to podcasts.
Yeah,
That's really, I found that it saved my time a lot while I'm listening and doing the routine. That really helps me so much. So we are giving a lot of examples. Choose whatever way,
yeah, yeah,
try whatever way, get a way that fits you.
yeah,
It doesn't mean that the way that fit me or didn't fit you,
yeah,
but it go and explore more ways, and then which one resonate with you, relate to you. That's the one that you
yeah.
just okay. Next.
And the next one is talking about the foundations. And Gretchen talk about the habits in these four areas. If we do that, it will boost our feeling of self-controls and it will strengthen all our other habits. So meaning that this is the foundation of habits. If you have this, it will help your other habits. The four foundation are sleep, move, move means exercise, move, eat and drink right, and surprisingly unclutter. Unclutter means you don't uncluttering, declutter your house, right? Your room, right? So I find it interesting and it's quite true. If you do these four things, even though you don't know what habit you want to build first, do these four habits first. It will help your other habits together.
100% with
Yeah,
that. It's definitely, there's the pillar to help you to build another pillar. So these four big pillars, please take notes on that. I
yeah,
always is a big, advocator for sleep, movement, eat right, drink right, and definitely I practice a lot of declutter, especially recently. A lot
yeah.
of things I throw away. So I'm like, oh, my mom is like, what? You're trying to gain
I
things?
think it also clear your mind, right? So,
Yep,
yeah,
I'm trying to declutter people as well.
good.
Those people that are supposed not to be in my life,
Yeah,
I declutter. So I mean, this is something you do to give more space for new things, for the good things to come into your life. So please do something. for your life, if you want some changes, new good changes that coming into life, do some declutter. Okay, so
Yeah.
next, what we
Yeah,
got?
I think we go through all the habit changing, but there are some statement I think which is very true, and I want you to think over. Um, Gretchen say about this: we fail because we want to reap the benefit without paying the price it demands. So a lot of people fail because they don't want to pay the cost. But think about that: every time you break the law, you pay. Every time you obey the law, you also pay. So, so it meaning that keeping a habit costs us. We all know that it costs us. It costs time, energy, money, and it sometimes means that we have to foregoing some pleasure and opportunity. But not keeping a good habit also has its cost. Like you sacrifice your health, or later you have some consequences. So think about that. Which cost you want to pay? You do it or you don't do it, you also pay the cost. Okay. So which cost you want to pay? What will make our life happier in the long run? So it's something that we have to reflect on. You know, if you don't build certain habit, I'm not saying that it's good or bad, but if you decide not to do that habit, you pay cost. Of course, for people like us, if we build a habit, we also pay our cost. We take our time, right, energy, right, and discipline, right. This is all cost. We So which cost you rather want to pay? Yeah.
Sometimes I personally feel like, when it comes to building habits, I would say building the positive, good habit that you want in your life, it takes your decision, the commit before you get to yourself to do that. Are you commit yourself to do that first? It's like, have you decided to do that? If you decide to do that, that really will brings you further rather than, you're going to do it for 2 days and stop for 3 days and do it again and then stop. It doesn't help you to build the long-term sustainable habit. So that's the reason why I dedicated almost my whole life right now. I'm doing a lot of things about habit change. So definitely the first ever person I want to influence is myself. We if we cannot influence our own self, we cannot influence other people. So the only person we can change is ourselves. We can't make people change, but when we change, others may change. And
Yeah.
I really hope that, the way that we recommend book to you, it's also a good things that we would love you to read more, to listen more, to learn more, to explore more. It is something so great um to it is such a good habit to read. If I don't read, I cannot sleep. This is something weird about me. I don't know, do you have this habit or not, Gideon? If you don't read, you cannot sleep.
Yeah. I feel like uneasy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
you feel uneasy like today there's something you haven't did it. Such important things in your life you haven't do it. You can't actually sleep peacefully. So I have to wake up. I feel so bad. It's like I have to wake up, open the lights, and read at least one page and then before I get back to sleep. So anything to say before to close today's session up?
yeah, I want to leave everyone with this statement. Hopefully this will give you encouragement. It's called Everyday Life in Utopia. So all of my work on habits and happiness we was meant to help us construct as much as possible everyday life in Utopia. Everyday life with deep, loving relationship and productive, satisfying work. Everyday life with energy, health, and productivity. Everyday life with fun, enthusiasm, and engagement, with a little regret, guilt, or anger as possible. I want to leave you this, and hopefully, we'll see you build out more habits that you want.
Yes.
We'll see
And
you
that
again.
is no. Let us know in the comment section below. What is the one
Yeah.
habit that you want to implement, you want to you want to build in your life right now? Number one. And tell us and share with us. And see you in the next episode.